Today we're going to talk about the HTML editor or rich text editor, but basically it's returning me some HTML formatted data. So let's go ahead to let's update our existing customer details screen. I'll just add an extra tab here. Editor, editor, okay. And I'll just go ahead and add a little form group there and just do a no label. And then I'll take the HTML editor and just put that here. Um, Again, pretty straightforward. We have a data source, which is the form, and then we have a data source field, which I don't have yet. So um, form group 4 was doubled, so let's name that 41. Save. Okay. All right. So I need a record get field to get the data. So I'll just name that HTML text. It's again a CLOP. And of course the record set will do the same. And we'll add their CLOP as well. HTML text. So I'll go back to my editor and I'll have to refresh. So I'll click away, click back, and then still not form there it is, HTML text. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for now. I'll save that and I'll open the portal. It asks me for login. It takes a while on my demo environment, so let's wait. Okay, so now we're gonna take a look how that looks like. Here we have the editor. There you go. So we can go ahead and type some stuff. It's a fully functioning HTML editor where you can put stuff bold, colorize, whatever. You have a lot of features which you can choose from. Arial black, stuff like that. So you know, the default stuff which people are actually using. Let me switch to English here because of course it's translate, but let's go to English. Okay, there it is. So we can copy paste stuff, we can do visual aids, full screen. Let me try that again. Okay, so this one's quite interesting one. You can see the source code here. And the rest, yeah, it's pretty basic. All the features are there which you need. Um, so once you hit save, it's going to basically store this information. Oops, sorry. It's going to store this information, or it's going to send that to the backend. So let's go ahead, do an F12 and take a look what he's going to send back. So I'll do records set and I'll just hit save. Record not found. Okay, it's just another thing because I didn't start the application, but I'm just curious what it's going to send. So as you can see here, he's going to send me the full HTML body of the application. So let's let's close that and open my customers because I need a customers application here. Okay, customer details I don't need. And here I can double click and now I have my customer details opened up with all the right stuff. And here I have the editor which is being rendered, as you can see. Okay, then I'll do F12 and I'll just hit save, and as you can see it's been successfully saved with all the fields. And in the end I have my somewhere I have that field HTML text here, you see, so it's going to save that value here. So of course after saving it's going to fetch again from the record get my value, so this one's empty. So let's go ahead and save that. Again, I'll save that, I don't know, into a little file. I'll say copy lop from the customer dot to file, and I'll just put that here as well, to file txt, call that HTML text. So I'll just save that into a file on disk. Of course, you can save that to to a database field, obviously. And in the record get, I'm going to do the opposite. So I'll simply populate the field. So it's from file to HTML text. All right, so let's just refresh the screen. Refreshing the screen. Then I'll go to the editor. It's going to load me, as you can see, some data from the record get. Let's try it again. Okay, and then I'll simply hit save. And there you have it. It saved that into a text file and it returned it using the record get. So that means I can also do that with any database field as well. Now, often we use these kinds of editors to manage some preset texts for emails. For example, I want to send an invoice to my customers, which I just created. So I want to show a little text which I can format using this HTML editor. And I also want to use placeholders, which have to be protected because those placeholders are replaced in some endpoint. So for example, we use placeholders within these brackets. So example, customer number, for example, like that. So if I would use, if I would store the text like that, and some user would, make this bold because he wants that bold, then I would have this result. Here you see, this is the result. So that's a problem because in my code, I can no longer replace this text because it has included some formatting elements within this. So to prevent that, we have created these placeholder endpoint here. So you could put here your placeholder endpoint. Here you go. I've created an endpoint for that, and I can just hit save. So basically what that endpoint returns is very simple. We simply have a temp table called tt placeholders. It has an ID and it has a description. And then depending maybe on the app name, because we can fetch that from the response, we also need to tell the HTML editor that the field ID is for my ID, and for the label I want to use the field description. So basically these two names are not that important as long as we map them correctly like this. So in this little example I created 3 records, placeholder customer number, customer name, and sales order number, for example. So if I now execute my portal again, I'll simply refresh that page here. Okay, so I'll go here, and now you see this little icon here appearing, which wasn't there before. And if you do a drop down here, you see that we have uh, placed here the placeholders which I want to use for this particular application. So now I can simply say, for example, I don't know, dear customer, I'll just remove that, and I'll just put here the customer name. Um, here are your details for your invoice. I can just put there, let's say, customer number. I can put there my customer number, and I can do like sales order number. Put there, for example, my sales order number. Thanks. So you could use it like that, and the interesting is that, as you can see, these elements are now protected. So even if I want to put them bold, and then I'll inspect the source, you'll see that it is handled in a completely different way, which protects basically my customer number, which can be used now in my, so this placeholder can now be replaced in my endpoints when I'm processing this, or when I'm sending the email, or maybe even before I'm showing this screen, because I could, for example, already before I show this text, I could already replace it. So that's an easy way how to use placeholders with some with the HTML editor. With this HTML editor, it is also possible to create your own mailing system, because we have built in a template mechanism where you can specify certain, you can create your own templates and mark certain areas. For example, if I would want to mark this area as a clickable area, because I want the user to be able to edit this, but I don't want the user to edit these kind of things, then it is possible to work with templates. And we'll come back to that in the next video, how we can do that, uh, because yeah, we don't have time on this video to do that anymore. So one last thing which I find very useful is this little icon. Imagine you have this in a little screen, not so big as here, but you know, a smaller place, and you want to visualize that full screen. You just click on this button here, and you have your full screen available for your editing. And when you're done, you simply hit the X, and it returns back to its original state. So I found that quite useful when I'm editing text. Hope you enjoy that, and see you next time. Safe.